We're
What's
back.
up, everybody? We back
Yeah.
with another show for you. We're doing
Mm-hmm.
part. We're doing part two. Meeting with district attorney. All testimonies. So, like we said, we got all the transcripts,
Mm-hmm.
and we have been going through them. But before we get started, um, Chuck Norris passed away. I heard about that.
Yeah.
You hit me up, and I'm like, Chuck
Mm-hmm.
Norris,
Yeah.
Texas Walker Ranger.
Ranger. Texas Ranger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I sit and
Walker,
watched that
Texas Ranger.
I sit and watched that with our granddad growing up.
Yeah. That was a
Yeah,
good one.
it's a good. Yeah, I used to watch that.
Yeah.
And far as with school with ODU, I worked there with the shooting the week ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're just trying to get everything back to normal. We had a big meeting today. From that picture I showed you, we just meeting up and just doing like just letting us know what's going on. And before that, a couple days before that, we met with the president of the university as well. So they're just more security on campus. And as I was on campus, I saw how a little change here and there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Wow. Excuse me, my
yeah.
allergies.
Bless you. Yeah. But yeah. So
Yeah. So
that's what's going on. But we're gonna get started with this because this is just too juicy.
yeah, but can I say before we get
Yeah,
started,
yeah.
do you see this big packet right here?
Oh yeah.
This is Laura's and Adrian's testimony in this big old packet here. And it's amazing how when you read all of this, how much untruths is in the media and how much is in here.
Hmm.
It's just amazing.
And
I
let me
mean,
tell you, y'all, it is.
just and when you look at this is like a whole movie script
Yep.
right here for Girl in the Garage. They went through transcripts, and you got these producers and stuff saying that they wrote this movie and all that, when all they went and did, like we have been saying, is went through transcripts and pulled things from other people's um, life stories and used it.
That's basically what they did, and they flipped everything around and made it about Laura, when all those things that's in that movie never happened to her. It was happening to y'all. I mean, it is Zach.
I'm still shocked to know that when we was speaking, when we was talking, not really shocked. I ain't gonna say shocked no more because I ain't really shocked by nothing she does. But um reading through Lakeisha's entire testimony, everything Lakeisha said verbatim is what Laura has been talking about in the media for some decades, for the last 2 decades.
I
She's been talking
mean,
about. I mean, verbatim.
yeah. And when
And
you
we
was
went
reading it,
through
I
it,
was, yeah,
highlighted stuff.
yeah. When you was reading it, I was like, "Yo, didn't she just say that in the interview, word for word?" Mm.
There's some things in there, but we just giving little bits and pieces until
Mhm.
we actually put together, the actual show of
Yeah,
everybody.
because we're mainly
But
gonna talk about Laura. We're gonna talk about all her whole testimony, Adrian, her whole testimony, and Dad. And we'll spring
yeah,
a little piece in there about our other siblings, but we're not gonna get because it's kind of some touchy stuff in
it's
there. But
graphic, some stuff.
yeah,
So we're not gonna say too much about it. But anybody that's tuning in, if you've ever seen the movie Tango and Cash with Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone, where they play these superhero cops. It's a good movie. I like it. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but that's my plan tonight is to watch that on Tubi. But the reason I mentioned Tango and Cash is because we was reading through Marlon's testimony, and I just found this to be, it's a connection there with that movie Tango and Cash, because you got 8 brothers, right? I'm a sister, and I
Mm-hmm.
got 8 brothers. And so from me reading their testimonies, I'm talking about all our brothers, but Marlon's stuck out because of this movie, Tango and Cash. Um, I look at how growing up, our brothers wanted to be superheroes, and just reading through these testimonies, I can understand why, because of the way they was being belittled, and they was little boys, and dad was a big man, and to them, they probably felt like, well, I know they felt like they couldn't really stand up to him. So they gravitated towards some of these movies. Now, Marlon, his testimony, he was testifying that one time he had ran away from home, and he was found in Stater Brothers grocery store. And that after the police caught him and returned him back home, he said dad told him, "You don't believe father meets greasy." And I don't even want to know about that.
When you said that to me, I'm like, what is he talking
He
about?
said, "Yeah, you
I
take me."
said gross.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
that's
said, "That's gross.
disgusting.
This is sick. This is disgusting."
Yep.
But I kept reading it, and Hannah was like, "No, it was a saying, fat meat greasy."
Mm-hmm.
But in the transcripts, he said father meat greasy. And so Hannah was like, "No, it's a saying, fat meat greasy," meaning that the individual get itself in trouble, and you're gonna have to learn the hard way. So I think
Okay.
that's how he was trying to describe it, or maybe dad did say it to him in that way.
Who
But
knows?
he
Yeah.
said that when he got busted and the police returned him back home, he said dad grabbed him by the collar and said, "You don't think father meat is greasy." He said dad said, "You want to find out the hard way, like Tango and Cash."
Yeah, like yeah. And Julie was
I
like,
started
Look,
laughing.
look, look, look." Julie was like, Tango and Cash. That was
She was
weird.
looking around. "Who's Tango and Cash?" He said. She said, "Who's Tango?" I would have thought she'd have known who Tango and Cash
Yeah.
is. It's a movie. It's a classic. And Marlon said in his testimony, he said Tango and Cash is him and Marcus.
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh, I get it." Once you dissect it more, you read again. I said, "I get it. I understand." So he was relating him and Marcus' upbringing to, they was these powerful superhero cops that was
Mm-hmm.
going out saving families and pulling crooks off the street and having them locked up. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I get it." So
Like
then
it
I
was
went
the.
further. I went further
Mhm.
into his testimony and was reading. Well, we did. We was reading it, and I realized, I said, all our brothers wanted to be these superheroes, because you got Marcus talking about all these fireballs. And
Yeah,
because
he
one of
doing.
my experiences with Marcus, when I made a visit to Virginia, I think it was in 2009,
Mm-hmm.
Marcus was telling us about his taekwondo skills, you know, and martial arts. And when you mentioned Chuck Norris, I know he really liked Chuck Norris, Bruce
Mm-hmm.
Lee. And I was just reading through that, and I was like, yeah, it reminds me. You can connect to it and you can relate to it, because when he was telling me about, well, he was talking about fireballs in the testimony, and I was like, hey, I remember that in 2009 coming to visit, having to talk about to me and Hannah about ninjas and making fireballs, but making it like psychologically, making it
Yeah.
with
And Dragon Ball Z.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, I get it. I understand. I get it." And then you got Nikosi and Chikosi, want to be these superheroes. And I'm saying then I got to thinking about it more, like I said it before, is that you got to put your mind in the mindset of, the child. And we all was children during that time. And so I kind of like read it, but then put my mindset in, their state and what they were thinking. So I was like, wow, that's that's something else to have a superhero as a figment, of their imaginations.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't realize it was tough. It was tough. And that stuff that was going on with us, those was like really hard times. Really
Yeah.
hard times. And I'm saying you already dealing with two adults that got different, behavior issues, and then the different dynamics of discipline. And it's like we was talking about today, having an outlet, you know, having somebody, a friend, or somebody you can talk to, or something that you can, connect with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, I guess I'm looking at it like this, that these
It
was
was the
their
outlet.
outlet,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I'm just like, it's a
You know,
connection.
to get away from what was going on in the home or what was going on within them, just to get some relief. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. And so I was just like, wow. So, I really get it, you know. But all of us movie fanatics, you know,
Yeah.
every last one of us. I mean, I'm always up to see a good movie somewhere, but all of us movie fanatics. So I'm just gonna move on
Mm-hmm.
to the top of this page where we got a lot of stuff, Rick.
Yeah. What
Uh
I know you sent me some notes. Where you want to start at first? 'Cause I know the first section. I mean, it's up to you because it's a lot you sent me. I know we kind
okay,
of jump
yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna start at why did Lifetime give Laura Cowing a movie
Okay.
that is not based on a true story?
Let me get to that part because I know you sent me a lot. I want to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that I get there. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm just okay. Here we go. Yeah, I'm there. Okay, yeah, here we go.
So we asked the question, why did Laura Cowing get a movie? Why
Mm-hmm.
did Lifetime? And they might got some producers like Sean Dyer who
Mm-hmm.
says foul stuff
Yeah, he did.
concerning us that's listening and watching. And we asked this question, why did Lifetime give her a movie?
Yeah.
You know, because nobody knows why. And I'm saying why now, like I've asked before, is because we're going through a process right now where we're going through all of these transcripts. And this is like what Lifetime has made. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
true story.
It's not at all.
I hope people know that that's not a true story. Not when you don't
Mm-hmm.
have the actual paperwork and the
Mm-hmm.
facts that's in your face. And like I said before we got online, think about it as being like in college, your first year of college, and you're doing research on a case. And I'm saying, me and you, we've done the research.
Yeah, we
And
done the research and we are the research. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and we're
Yeah.
still doing it. And it's like, you, why would you give her a movie and you say it's a true story? That's not a true story. And that's
Yeah,
just the
or
honest truth.
even just say the Lord Cowan, girl in the garage. You know what I'm saying? When okay, that didn't happen to her. That happened to us. Everything that everyone when you watch that movie, everything that Musa is doing and how he's treating her, he never did that. Never.
Says the transcripts.
Yeah, says the transcripts.
That's
Yeah.
that's legally, according to the law, when you're sitting in a court with a judge
Mm-hmm.
and two attorneys and you got a jury, I'm saying these are legal transcripts that we have. And that's not what we're reading in the transcripts. We're not reading verbatim according to that movie
Yeah.
that she was this vulnerable 24, 25-year-old woman.
She was in her
And
40s.
that, yeah, well into her 40s. and that he just popped up out of nowhere, like Pop Goes the Weasel, Puff the Magic Dragon, just popped up from nowhere.
I want to say this part where her husband went to prison, and it's in there. He went to prison in May, 1990? I got it up here.
He went
95,
May 5th, 1995.
1995. The month later, she was in a romantic relationship with our dad.
But our father,
but y'all didn't meet it. Yeah, but you didn't meet it. Yeah.
No, but our father stated, because we read a little bit of his testimony. He stated that they was in a relationship while she was married. They was in a relationship
before he went to prison.
Because she would vent to him about her husband being abusive towards her.
Yep.
She would vent to him about how her husband was abusive towards her. And then all of a sudden, you got the feds. You got the feds banging at the door, raiding their store and locking him up. So I'm like, why is Lifetime not showing that? I mean, if you want us to write the script for you, we can write the whole script for you from beginning to end. And it wouldn't just be an hour and a half. It would be like, with the information
it'll be a whole series. It'll be a series. That's what
or more than that.
More than that, because it's
seasons. But I'm just telling you, what I saw in that movie, like you said, the movie's trashy and it's filled with nothing but lies. And it's not a true story. It's not a true story, because you guys used children to tell a story for this lady. And
abuse children.
Use children. And I'm noticing that it's a pandemic in society, because I'm looking at I don't know if you watched that television show 19 Kids and Counting.
I've seen it every now and then, a little piece of it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I've seen it with this family, the Duggar family. They got white family. They got 19 kids, and the oldest child, Josh Duggar, he had got into some pedophilia activities, and they had investigated him, I think, for years. All of a sudden, he did something. They bust him. I think he got, like, right now, he's doing maybe about 15 years in prison. But then I look, and I'm like, yesterday, they got another Duggar, Joshua Duggar, another one of the boys that pops up, and you got a 9-year-old child that's a victim to this stuff. And this happened in 2020, and we're in 2025. So you're looking at 6 years it took investigators to arrest him in California, because the crime happened in Florida. I think he's in California from the article that I was reading. And they got to extradite him back to Florida. And so I was looking at the article today, and it said that if he's convicted, he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail, in prison. So I'm just like, wow, I'm noticing that. And I'm noticing that there's a lot. I'm not going to, I'm going to say with the media, actually, is that I don't think the media takes it serious when, I know rapes and stuff happen to adults and men and women, but I don't think they take it seriously when it comes to children. I think
they don't.
They brush it off. And this is from self-experience from all of us, what we went through. We're just lying here minding our own business, and then poof, a movie pops up a year ago. And so you're like watching the movie, and you're like, how is this a true story when there's a total different timeline? If you looked at Laura's verbatim testimony from her being questioned by a judge and two attorneys on her dealings with Musa and how their relationship started. But you have in this movie that she was this young 24, 25-year-old vulnerable person. And he just popped up out of nowhere and told her, your husband said to go with me. And so when I tell you to believe that it didn't happen that way, believe it. Believe it. Because that's what we're doing. We're fact checking everything. Fact checking. And in, time, you're going to see a lot of her testimony, Adrian's and our fathers, and some of our mothers that we're going to discuss. But Laura, every detail will be discussed.
Yeah.
Every detail. And it's a lot. It's a lot.
We
It's a
just
lot.
hitting little spots and saying little
Yeah.
stuff here and there, but because we're gonna eventually get to the whole thing. But when we was
Mm-hmm.
going through it, my mom was like, "Man, this lady evil."
Yeah. Yeah. Pure
What
evil. And
she was doing
a habitual liar too.
when Dad got arrested, right, and he got
Mm-hmm.
out the next day. Okay, he meeting up with her. That's
He met
crazy.
up with her. In his testimony, he states that he met up with her. He was arrested April 6th.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She called him. He left, went to a payphone, and talked to her. And then she kept paging him. He said she
Yeah, she
paged him
did
something like
15
38,
times.
39
Okay,
times.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then he said April 9th of 99, he met her at a restaurant called Vicky's, and I'm going to say it verbatim, in San Bernardino on Waterman.
But she's supposed to have been so scared of him, and he supposed to have been beating her up and doing all this stuff from her, from what she's claiming. But that's
Mm-hmm.
not what actually happened, and she know it.
Yeah. Not just that, but he met up, gave her some money.
Yep.
He gave her some money. And it wasn't just her, it was Adrian. And he stated verbatim in his testimony that Adrian, he stayed in contact with Adrian for about 6-7 months after he was incarcerated. He said she was coming to visit him.
And didn't Laura write him a letter?
Yeah, and she wrote him a letter. I forgot about that. I'm looking at my notes. Yeah.
Yeah, when he was locked up. But see,
This stuff is so way out. It's
it's
like
so twisted. I'm telling you.
it'll have you twisted reading this stuff. I'm telling you. This stuff. I'm like, it ain't nowhere in the world that I could have sat there and I'm looking at these transcripts. We taking pauses while we're reading. I'm just like, what
Yeah,
in
we
the
like.
world? Wait. But
And then how the dad's attorney was saying, no.
in
I'm
her
asking
words,
you. Mhm.
in her words, throughout her whole testimony, and I'm talking about, she just kept saying, I was afraid of him. I was in
Yep.
fear.
Yeah. She tried to use that, but that didn't work. She
But
kept
you
trying. Yes,
wasn't
yep.
afraid of him to write
Mm-hmm.
him a letter. You
Mm-hmm.
wasn't afraid of him to page him 38, 39 times. You wasn't afraid of him to go meet with him at a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant. You wasn't afraid to do that. And that's his testimony that she did that. Then you got Adrian. You looking at a lady that I thought for years up until now, I was taking her apology as, okay, she's sincere. Remember I talked to you about it?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I took the apology as being sincere before she left to go back to Cleveland. But then I read these transcripts, and the DA warned me of this. She said, Crystal, when you and your brother read these transcripts, this is going to give you guys a better understanding of things. So, reading Adrian's testimony, I'm sitting there with Richard, and we online reading this stuff. And I'm just like, the apology that she gave us was not genuine. So I'm just telling
Nah.
Lakeisha, Marlon, Tiffany, Sharon, we was there when she apologized. And I thought the apology was serious, but if you knew what was in them transcripts, the apology wasn't genuine at all.
Nah.
Because she told so many lies in her testimony, and she's not, but she got busted. That's the thing with Adrian. She got busted by Mr. Morales. And I thought when Mr. Morales was cross-examining Adrian and Laura, I think he did an excellent job. I think what he was more concerned about in
Mm-hmm.
Dad's case with him being tried, I think he
Mm-hmm.
was more concerned about, was the jury going to find him guilty when it came to all those kids?
Yeah.
Because it was a kind of like, especially when I testified, it was a kind of like he was making Dad look like a victim.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing with every last one of us. He was making them look like a victim.
But
But I'm
I have to
saying,
give, but with Laura and Adrian, I got to give it to his attorney because he really brought
mm-hmm,
the truth out, and Julie didn't object to anything. She
not one
tried to
time.
one time. She tried to say something one time, but the judge threw it out, and everything else she didn't. She
Hearsay.
just it was hearsay. It didn't everything else. It was just rolling through, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy."
Yeah.
And I like how you was saying that Julie pretty much understood that they was going to win the case anyway, but and Laura had immunity, so it was like whatever. You know what I mean?
Julie knew, I think, pretty much that she was going to win the case, and I think she knew. Matter of fact, I know because from us dissecting evidence
Mm-hmm.
and information and knowing what we know now, she was going to win the case, and the jury was going to find him guilty. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
fact because
Yep.
he's been telling a lot of family members, and shame on him, is that, that his children are lying, that he didn't do anything. Now, we got all the facts, and there's documents of 2 decades of abuse, and there's transcripts. I mean, it's trails and trails and trails and trails of stuff that he did, and it has evidence to it, actual evidence to it. Now, when it came to Laura and Adrian, both of them was piggybacking off of everything that happened to the children in the
Yep.
home.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that it happened to them too. But like you said, Mr. Morales's line of questioning,
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
he was really hard on the both of them.
He
And
really
every
brought it out.
time,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
every time he asked them a question, he followed it up with the truth. He had some paperwork,
Yeah,
which I ain't gonna
sure
get
did.
too deep into.
I do
But
want to say this one because Laura keeps saying this all the time. He asked her, I don't know if I said this on the other show, but anyway, he said, but you said you got raped multiple times, right? And she kept saying, well, I didn't say that. He said, well, it's in that letter. And he said, did he rape you? And she said, no.
no. So there you have it. And like Sharon mentioned on the Dr. Phil show, um, that wasn't brought up, and none of
Yeah.
us didn't hear any of that in this case. The only person we knew about is two of our sisters.
Yep.
That's the only thing that we knew about is two of our sisters. And when we heard, pretty much we knew about that.
Yeah.
But when we was on the Dr. Phil show and Sharon was speaking about that, it was shocking because Sharon stated that was never even said during the trial, Laura, and why are you doing this? That was to make all of us feel bad. That's what that was for, to make all of us feel bad. But guess what? Nobody paid attention to it. Nobody paid attention to it at all. And so to see that in those files, You know, that was like, wow. But you done been all over all types of different television stations, and you done fed this to Cleveland-based people, and you've told women that have actually been raped that this happened to you. And be mindful of this, you guys. There's no exhibits. There's no exhibits of
No whatsoever.
no pictures of all her teeth
Nope.
being knocked out, black eyes. Let me tell you who is there is exhibits of? Our mother.
Yep. And she
There,
knew about that, and she's been using
and
that.
she's been using it. There's no exhibits of none of the stuff that she said of her teeth being knocked out, her being stabbed in the foot, none of that stuff. Keisha mentioned something. I want to mention this too in her testimony we was reading 2 days ago. She said when you and her was about what?
We was young, probably 3 or 4,
How
maybe
old was you guys? Four,
we 4. We were
five,
young.
and
Yeah.
four?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 and 4. And she said dad worked at 7-Eleven. She said he came home. This is verbatim at Keisha's testimony. She said he came home and she said that me and Richard were little kids. And she said he came home, instead of greeting us like a father do his kids that miss their kids all day and their wife, he started questioning you guys about, was mom cheating with somebody upstairs? And Keisha said she said no. And when she said that, he told her, you're going to tell me the truth. And she said no, she didn't. And then he said he asked you and you told him no. He said, because I'll burn down the whole house with everybody in it. And do you know who said that?
Laura.
Laura said it to Terry Crumpton in 2011. I took notes of it, I believe, of June, that she was so afraid of him because he said, I burned down the house with everybody in it. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
In those transcripts, in her testimony, that quote ain't even in there. It's
Nope.
only in Keisha's testimony. So
Because
she
like we've
has
been saying, she took that. She saw somebody release something to her. That's all I'm gonna say because it's
taking bits.
identical.
I'm just
Yeah.
telling you, yep. When it came to this movie, she took bits and pieces out of transcripts. She put it together and she sold them a lie. My goal is to get the movie off of Lifetime, is to have it completely removed. And there's some things that's going to take place with it being boycotted. That's my thing. And it can be done. And we all know that. It can be done. So that's my thing. And having the real story told, but not by Lifetime.
Yeah. Not by
Not by
them.
Lifetime. No, no. They did a dirty job and it was just trashy what they did, you know.
Like I said, they were never betting on that we would come out and get this paperwork and start speaking what really happened. They never thought it.
Sure didn't. Okay, so we go on to our so we talked about the movie. So we go on to our next question.
Cause I know I kind of interrupted you, but
Okay,
we
and
were
then
talking about
Mr.
Laura.
Morales
Yeah.
had asked Laura in her, we talking about Laura right now, transcripts. He had
Mm-hmm.
asked her when she was living in our home, what was she living off of? And she couldn't really verbatim say what she was living off of. So he stated you had to be living off of their family because of the amount of children that our mother had. He said you had to be living off of them. And she said she didn't know. She didn't know. Yeah, you knew. You knew
Mm-hmm.
full and well what you was doing. Just like you knew that pretty much, I'm gonna just say this. The lady had a plan and she followed through with that plan. with planning stuff and then plotting stuff to make sure that she didn't get in trouble for the things that she was doing. But I'm saying, from what I read, she had a plan, because I look at her past relationship in her transcripts with her husband, is that you had 12 that I could count different names that you was going by. You was going by Laura Aisha Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
You was going by Laura Lang. You was
Yep.
going by Laura Lacey,
Yep.
Laura Cowie, Laura
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad, Laura Shabazz,
Mm-hmm.
Salima Shabazz, Salima Muhammad, Salima Lang, a whole bunch of names. And Mr.
And Social
Morales
Security
stated,
cards.
yeah, and Miss Morales stated in those transcripts that she was applying for Social Security numbers. Now, here's what I think she was doing. I think she was using all of these names and applying for different Social Security cards so that the money that they had trafficking coming in from them guns that
Mm-hmm.
her husband was selling, that the tax revenue would not be able to locate it. That's what I think she was doing. Because she was asked, um,
When
well,
she's like keeping the
she said
books.
she didn't know. She was, yeah, and she was keeping the books.
But she said that she wasn't
Yeah.
savvy how to do business and stuff in the movie, and she was talking all this stuff. No, the late she kept all the books. Her husband didn't.
And be mindful of this. She said that when she went out to take care of business with
Mm-hmm.
dad, she kept all the books.
Yep, sure
She
did.
said that's what he used me for. So it goes back to that first relationship, that there's a lot of similarities with this case, and then listening to him cross-examine her with her husband's case. And not just that, but before she came into our home, she had called the police on her husband for
Mm-hmm.
slapping her, and he was put in handcuffs and taken to jail. That's in her testimony and transcripts. And then her
But not
son
with
was
the
taken.
movie. Yeah, but the movie
Son,
said that he was this good person. He never did
yeah.
nothing.
And her son was taken before. Now this is long before we met
Mm-hmm.
her, but her son was taken from her before. So what I'm saying, these are just bits and snippets we giving. It's gonna get deeper.
Because once we pull it
It's
all
deep.
together and you start seeing it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's deep. It's really it's just it's something else. It's a piece of work.
I want.
Laura was asked, did she conspire with Musa in abusing Musa's children, and did she abuse her children? And that's one of the questions she's failed to answer. All of the questions surrounding her statue in the home, she still has not answered. And if you look and listen to her, she uses all of us. The words that's associated with domestic abuse in them transcripts is what she uses. She says, number one, I was scared. Number two,
Yeah.
I was in
Mm-hmm.
fear of him.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, I didn't have anywhere to go.
Yep.
Now, when we get into I didn't have nowhere to go, I can tell you this. Our sister Tiffany stated on the Dr. Phil show, and we've all stated on Dr. Phil show, that she left anytime she wanted to, and she would stay gone at weeks at a time. But in them transcripts, I'm just gonna let you know this one thing. She was gone for 6 months, and she came back, and she was asked, why did she come back?
Yep.
And you know what she said? She said, I came back because he had some of my belongings. And the officer said, you was told, don't go back to his house, because they actually removed her and her kids, both her kids, away from our home, Mr. Morales stated. They removed her and put her and her two kids in the back of a police vehicle. And they took her from Desert Hot Springs and they took her to her husband's aunt's house. And the aunt's name is Helen Kilmore. And that's in Glendale. They took her. That's where she lived. She was gone. But she said she came back because he had some of her belongings. When they told her when she needed to get her belongings to contact them, she defied them. And she did what she wanted. Like what she's doing right now, she thinks that, I'm this big old superstar. I can do what I want. You know, I can say anything I want. Her issue with all of us is that she's mad, and without us being around her or even knowing her, she's shown us in comments that she made, and she's shown us in the media how much she hates and she don't like us. And it states in the transcript verbatim with different siblings stating things they heard her say, which I'm not gonna get into.
Yeah, but check this out, everyone. Y'all went in the courtroom at the same time, and when you was reading those testimonies, it's identical what she did to y'all. I mean, all our siblings.
I believe, we weren't. None of us was in the courtroom when each of us testified, but we had support systems. You know, somebody we can bring in. I believe I got to look back, because remember I told you we got to look back on dates. I got to find out what day did she testify and what day did all of us testify. Because I think what happened is our testimony, I'm thinking somebody told her about our testimony and she went back and took notes and used it. Because it's a lot of stuff that she's saying that even when it came to mom testifying, I'm like, that's just a carbon copy. A carbon copy of what mom said.
Yeah, even when she said, I was afraid he was going to kill my kids. Dad, you say that to mom all the time.
Yep.
So, I mean, she just took everything, y'all, everything, and just made it about her and her children. And they just threw us to the side. Like, okay, them kids, they lying.
Like I said, when you go through them transcripts, it's horrible. It's horrible. Things that you're looking at with your eyes. Things that you thought, well, there was a lot of stuff we already knew.
Yeah. Because we've been saying it up here anyway. Y'all been saying it from the beginning. It's just now with the transcript, it's just making it more like, okay, yeah. Even though we know, but for the audience,
Yeah. So when you go back to what we was just speaking about, all the words associated with domestic abuse, she said in them transcripts a lot. When she was asked the question, I was afraid. I was in fear of him. I didn't have anywhere to go, which was a lie because it was proven that she was not scared of him and that she was not afraid of him. And it was proven that she did have somewhere to go because she left several times. And she said it out of her own mouth that she left and where she went. So, not just that. The rape portion, we cleared that up because that's in there. She said she wasn't. When she stated that she suffered from Stockholm syndrome, that was another lie.
Yeah.
That was another lie. And I think we established that several times in other shows that we did. And then she said she didn't have any money.
Yeah, he took over my finances and all that stuff.
First of all, she didn't have no finances. And that was established in those transcripts. She didn't have any money. And so she lied. Well, what they did, let me tell you what they did. They took Adrian's testimony, and I'm not going to say what.
Okay. Yeah.
They took Adrian's testimony, and they used it in the movie like he took over her finances.
They sure did.
She didn't have no finances when she came in our home.
And there's something else they put up Adrian in there, too. and made like it was Laura.
Yep. Yep. You would actually think the person that how they wrote the movie, like she was a young 24, 25-year-old girl. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Adrian was about 28, 29. So I was like, yeah, they using Adrian for that portion right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a lot. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna blow you away. It's a lot of stuff in there that you guys would be just shocked at to know. To know. As far as the finance, like we said, she didn't have the money. Then she said I was afraid he was gonna kill my kids. Uh Mom said that in her testimony. Um, I think I got to the part where she said he knocked all her teeth out. No,
Mm-hmm.
that's not in there. She said she was held against her will. Reminder, all of these things Lord has said is proven to be false just by reading and examining these transcripts. Plus, the district attorney has answered many questions about how Laura was not a credible witness and how she exaggerated things that didn't even happen to her.
Yeah, don't worry about me. I've got something I'm doing. Keep
Mm-hmm.
talking.
Okay, and then um, it was a part where she was asked about was she part of the abuse, but I'm gonna correlate this with what Sean Dyer said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Adrian testified that when Laura wanted something, she got it, and how she had most of the food in the home, while Musa had 13 children to feed. She testified that they got the less of
Mm-hmm.
anything in the home, and she got mostly everything. Um, Adrian also testified about mom and Laura's relationship that Laura stated she did not care for Musa's children or especially his wife. So that's what Adrian testified to, and that's in the transcripts in her testimony. Adrian also testified that she did not see Laura or her children starving at all. So,
Mm.
this starving thing that we've been talking about for a long time about her
Mm-hmm.
saying that she was starving, Adrian testified to that. So I'm gonna just get into a little snippet of something that happened, and it was a video that Sharon did about, I say, a good 9-10 months ago, where Sharon stated in her interview that I believe it was her, Marlon, and Curtis in the garage, and Laura's son was in the garage as well, standing in the bucket. They said Laura opened up the door, brought her son out there in the garage, and stood him on the other side of the vehicle in the bucket. Now, um, Sharon stated in that interview a few months, 11 months back, 10, 11 months back, she stated in that interview that she came out in the garage a few minutes after she put her son in the garage, and she went up in a cabinet in the garage and gave her son a bottle of pills and told her to take it. Okay. That was in the interview you did with Sharon about 10, 11 months ago.
Yeah.
Then I look in the transcripts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me go back. This is Curtis testifying. He stated in his testimony that him, Sharon, and Marlon witnessed Laura giving her son Ahmed pills. And when they tried to get help for him, Curtis stated in his testimony that Laura grabbed Sharon by the back of her head, turned her around, and punched her in the face.
Yep.
So, I mean, and like I said, it's in the transcripts. I'm not making it up. I'm not just saying it. And this is Curtis's testimony. And Dad's attorney said, you saw her do it. He said he saw her do it. because he said her son had passed out. She gave him pills, and Sharon ran to the door to try to get help. And she turned Sharon around, pushed her, then took her fist, punched her in the face, closed the door
And,
back, and came out.
and with that same situation right there, they took her son to the hospital, and there's video of that, right?
Yep, yep, yep. What happened in let me go back. What happened is that in her testimony, Laura's testimony,
Mm-hmm.
in her testimony, Mr. Morales asked her about this overdose. And she said, well, she skirted around the issue. This is what she does. She doesn't answer a question like she's supposed to. She skirted around the issue. And what she said, he had got a hold of some pills. But she made sure when she said it, she didn't put herself in it. She made sure. I'm not going to get myself trouble. I'm telling you, the lady is very smart and she's calculated. What she did when Mr. Morales asked her in her testimony, your son had to go to the hospital to get his stomach pumped, right? She said, yes. He said,
Mm-hmm.
why did he had to go to the hospital and get his stomach pumped? She said, well, he got a hold of some pills. And he said, where did he get the pills from? She said she didn't know, but she did say that they was iron pills.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did say that they was iron pills. And she said what happened was he got a hold of these pills, and she said that she took him to the hospital. But that's not what happened, because he has video and he has her son's discharge papers. And so when she said it like that, he showed her exhibits and videos. He said, let me refresh your memory. He said, you said you drove your son to the hospital. She said, yes. He said, well, let me show you. He said, no. Musa drove him to the hospital because he's seen pulling up at the emergency entrance. And you're seen taking him out the vehicle to the nurse's station. Now, her son was in the hospital for 2 or 3 days, it states in them transcripts. And you know what he asked her? He said, why didn't you
Yeah.
leave?
Yep. Or
Why
get any
didn't you
help.
tell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And was your son malnutrition? She said no. He said, okay. Uh, did he have any bruises on the body? She said, not that I could see during that time.
Yeah, she trying to be slick.
He said, I didn't ask you that, Miss Cowing. And she was trying them people in court, because that judge had to say to her several times he was going to hold her in contempt. So as we going through these files, I'm realizing now why the district attorney said that she was going to be charged, but they decided not to. If you saw them transcripts, like I said, it would blow you away, the stuff that's in there. So, let's see, the preliminary hearing, and then I'm going to stop that way, Hannah, if you can jump in. But the preliminary hearing has 1,120 pages of hearsay that Rick Zerko reported to the judge, and the judge threw out 21 different counts Laura alleged that happened to her. Each charge was dropped based off of no evidence. Now, that's what I read in the preliminary hearing in the beginning.
Right. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, before I even get started, I just want to do this quick disclaimer for you all. And I'm Hannah, and I have a little statement for everybody out there. Born from the ashes of unimaginable trauma, this podcast is more than a conversation, it's a lifeline. My wife, Crystal, and her brother, Richard, have transformed their history as survivors of horrendous crimes into a master class of resilience. By documenting their own journey of processing deep seated wounds, they provide listeners with the education and coping skills necessary to navigate the aftermath of abuse. Their mission is clear: to confront those currently suffering, empower those who have escaped, and provide the radical transparency needed to prevent future cycles of abuse. The content of this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only, and is based on the personal lived experience of the host. It is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or spiritual or mental health treatment. If you or someone you know is in immediate danger or experiencing a crisis, please reach out for professional help. And we have one of the resources is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. And that number is 1-800-799-SAFE. I repeat, the number is 1-800-799-SAFE. And with the numbers, it is 1-800-799-7233. And you can also text them with the word START to 88788 and text them at the number of the letter START to the number of 88788. Thank you.
And did you want to get into when you met the DA?
Yes. You know, this cycle has been so long that we've been going through this process over 20 years. And I don't think you or I or Rick ever imagined that it would be this long of a time. And trying to get some resolvement and, processing trauma. So we finally met with the DA in a productive meeting. We've had other meetings, many meetings. They haven't been productive. They've been everything except productive. We thought things would come up out of meetings and you were told certain things that you couldn't have or you couldn't get. So this particular meeting was very productive because after all this time, it was produced some information, the record, the trial record. And so, having that and the verbatim account of the trial record, and with the public officials that we met with who were very helpful in that meeting, they went beyond the call of duty. One of them was in and out of court. And I mean, he, beelined it over here directly from court and stayed long as he could. And, some things they didn't have to do, but they did it out of the sense of duty. And, Crystal, what really resonated to you, one of the things that they said during that meeting?
Well, it was a question you had asked them. You said, who are the heroes in this case? And when she said the children, that gave me a lot of relief.
Yeah, that was really powerful.
I got sick of that media title that they kept giving. And it was time for us to speak. It was like, okay, they going online saying to children victims that are now adults that you're lying and that didn't happen. And all of that stuff is coming from her, or it's coming from people reading stuff and misrepresenting it because they just vicious people and they want to do that. But what she said that the children was because she said that that's how they got them convicted because of the children.
Yeah. And I asked them and said, who are the victims? The children are the victims. Laura Cowan, her situation was very minute at best. And it's really a complicated thing from what she says it is to what it actually is. And I also asked them, said, who are the facts? They looked at Crystal and said, you and your brother and sister are the facts to the case, because the case surrounded around your testimony, because Laura's testimony was all over the place. They couldn't depend on anything she said. She told so many different stories about stuff where she got confronted and cross-examined and, about the stories that she got called out on those stories, and she changed it right there in the courtroom. As you have the verbatim account of her testimony, and I know you guys will be sharing different snippets with that throughout the course, exposing it's all the stuff that Laura has said, all the stuff that you guys have talked about that she had did before even having all this trial verbatim account. And it's funny because they can compare that to what she said and things that you guys said that she did, and it's going to be even more detailed than what has been said, because the record from what you testified to is even more clearer to you now, because the in-depthness of it is even deeper after, wow, how many years has this been? Since testimony, what, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, about
since the case,
15.
Yeah, since the case concluded, yes.
Trial.
Right.
Yeah. About 15.
And so when you go across all that evidence, when you guys are going across and, going through the pages and all this different stuff, one thing that's synonymous is that Laura is definitely lying. And everybody watching this channel, please take time to subscribe, because you're going to want to do that. Because what's coming next are the snippets of the verbatim account, the actual words of testimony that was said during the trial, exposing Laura Cowan and showing the whole cathartic process of this long trial that the victims had to endure, and where they're at this point for advocating for themselves and processing their trauma on this podcast, through this podcast. And I hope that everybody's out there, that they have questions. Please ask questions and support this podcast, because these are the type of things that we all can grow from. That meeting, it was so much. And it's a lot of things I don't want to say about the meeting, because I know a certain individual is watching.
Mm-hmm.
And that will come, that information. It's because the individual that's watching, we know we're talking about, they know it's coming. They know they know this. And so as it unfolds, you see, victims are going to process what they've been through so they can get some kind of relief, some kind of healing. So, it's about letting the healing begin, because it's been a long process. And people are like, wow, it's been a long process. Well, this process, from the magnitude of abuse that happened here, this is a lifetime process. And I don't know what holds next for the information, but I know it's all kind of information that's going to be popping off, and you guys are going to be really popping off with it.
Right. One of the things I was going to mention is, remember when I told you that there was this guy last year between January and February of 2025, where I had made a comment about Laura being involved in the abuse in the home, and he wrote this
Mm-hmm.
long, I mean, maybe 2 pages, and he
Mm.
published it on Facebook under my comment. And he said that well, he was taken up for her. He said that she was never mentioned in any transcripts that she had anything
Mm.
to
Mm.
do with any abuse. He said that all of us was lying. That's what he told the public on Facebook, and he published it. And then he used some liable, slanderish stuff where he stated we was visiting our father still, and that we was still up under his control, and that none of us went to any counseling to get help from our unprocessed trauma, because that's what he believed
Mm.
that you're seeing. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you know that? How do you know that none of
Right.
us have been to counseling and that we still go to visit that individual? And then on top of that, when he states
Mm.
that she wasn't involved in any abuse, you didn't live in the home. That's fact number 1. Fact number 2, he stated that, I mean, then he stated that she was not mentioned in any records. And we have the records that she was mentioned. Every last one of our siblings mentioned incidents of abuse that she was involved in. For example, Michael testified that Laura would beat her son, Ahmed, with this boat oar paddle. And that, yep, and that the words he used to Julie Baldwin, Mike said Laura would go off and beat him for 10 to 15 minutes with the paddle that she hit him upside his head with. And sometimes she would hit him all over his body. And he said Ahmed was little and did not want to be hit. So she would just take the paddle and hit him everywhere. Curtis stated in his testimony that he did not like Laura at all. She called me and my siblings some dirty animals. That's what she called us. She said we all was things and mom was a washed up piece of meat after having 13 children, and that we all reminded her of the Brady Bunch. That's what Curtis testified to.
Mm.
Marcus testified that when he came back to California after leaving the home for 2 years prior, that Laura did not live in the home. He didn't understand during the trial why was she stating that she was with us for all those years. He said he didn't even see her. He said, I told my brother when I went back east, he said, I told my brother Red, I didn't even see her. She was nowhere to be found. She wasn't there. He said he didn't see her being held against her will. He saw her leaving whenever he wanted to. Mr. Morales asked Laura, why didn't she stay away in all those police reports? He said, you know, it's a lot of police reports to those homes that they live in. He said, why didn't you stay away from this family? You kept going back like he was obsessed with Musa. Laura stated that that was her plan, that she wanted to be with Musa. She said one of the main reasons why is because for financial stability. Mr. Morales asked her why was she claiming to be married to Musa and writing love letters to her actual legal husband. And he also asked her in her testimony, he said, if you knew it was not going to work out with Musa because he stopped trusting you and believing in you, why was you having your neighbor, Janet Masters, send love letters to your legal husband in prison?
Mm. 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 You know, and see what you're saying, what Crystal is saying, everybody, is that she's not saying this. She's quoting words and testimony from the trial. To be clear.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to challenge anything, and even going back to the reporter who you started with that said these libel and slanderous statements and stuff that he didn't know, and where did he get his source from? I think, is that the same one that said he got it from the transcripts?
No, he never.
No, he was just he never said, he was just stating from what
he just popping off with it, just stating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And where did he get this stuff from? He just pulled it out his rectum. I don't know where, the stuff that he's saying. So somebody told him something. He just turned around like a pirate's parrot and just started parroting whatever he was saying, wherever he got it from. And see, that's the cost of doing that kind of stuff. The consequences that should, that goes to that type of behavior and saying these type of things against victims. It's funny. If everybody out there, you watch what some of these people say on shows against victims. And it's crazy when you start perpetrating victims and you try to turn them into the perpetrators, something is seriously going wrong. You see, so that's a serious deflection. And so this nonsense that the stuff is, coming out, that we know his source, for whatever reason, he believed everything, hook, line, and sinker that Laura told him.
But the thing is that I'm not making excuses for this guy because he has that post
right
still up there, and he was a producer for that movie. And the stuff that he said.
Oh, for what's the name of that movie? The Girl in the Garage.
He was a producer for that movie.
Right.
And the stuff that he said it, and then he published it online.
Oh boy.
It, and he put himself in the position where he was a doctor, where he was a therapist, where he was some type of psychoanalyst, because it's because of the way that he spoke.
And he's speaking about your medical records.
But he spoke in a way when he mentioned that Laura Cowing was not involved with any of the abuse in that home, and she was never mentioned in any legal records. We have the legal records. And that's why, like you stated, verbatim, I'm quoting it. It's in there that she was involved. Did you hear what I just quoted a few minutes ago about our 2 brothers and our 3 sisters, of what they saw? That ain't even the half of it. It's not the half of it, of things that she did. Like we stated earlier before you got on, using names: Laura Aisha Hampton, Laura Lang, Laura Lacey, Laura Shabazz, Laura Lacey, Laura Muhammad. Using, and Mr. Morales asked her, why are you using all of these aliases? When your husband was selling guns, was you taking some of this money and putting it in the register? She said no, but she kept the books, he said, in their store. He said, but you kept the books.
And she worked the counter at the store. How do I know? Because I saw her working the counter at the store. You see, and I mean, that's something else. And then I found out, because a guy that I knew at the time, he was going there purchasing weapons. And I didn't even know until I found out later on about that. That's what he was doing, and that's what was going on. Because it was always some strange business when he went over there. Because they had like a little bakery stuff in there too. So they would get, I'm over there trying to get a bean pie or something,
But when she talks, you guys, you gotta understand this, because me and Richard went through a couple of transcripts, and when she talks, she always have a second person or a third person she can put it on. Like when it came to her husband and they was questioning her about her husband, she went back and she always put it back on him. Well, he told me to do it.
Yeah.
He told me to do it. And then, like,
and he was abusive. He was saying he was abusive to her, right?
Yeah, he was arrested. He was arrested because she wasn't afraid of him.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just so much stuff. It's so much stuff that's in there. It's like it's just unbelievable. It's stuff that I thought it's just unimaginary. The stuff that's in there is unimaginary. And then when you get down to the pill situation that we was talking about of her son, overdosing, she tried to wing her way out of that. And then the kids, when you read, Ahmed and her daughter's testimony, all they say is they don't know anything. They say they'll mention a situation, but then they'll say, "Oh, but our mom told us that happened."
Right.
But I don't remember, or I can't recall that. And then when her son was asked about the pills he overdosed on, he said he don't remember that happened. All he remembered is that his mother told him go out in the garage, and that dad put some type of black beans to trick him, to make it look like it was coffee beans. He ate them.
And so
Somebody,
what
no,
did
I'm
he go to the
telling you,
hospital?
no.
Did he go to the hospital after
Yeah,
that?
he did. But I'm
Okay,
telling
so
you,
there goes the trail right there. Medical trail.
transcripts. Me and Rick done read them. You can read into the transcripts. These two kids, they was coerced.
Mm-hmm.
They was coerced into saying this stuff.
You know,
Because
that's like that movie
it was
you
like
remember that
first
movie we
they
watched
explained,
where
huh?
they coerced the kids into saying that somebody did something to somebody, because that's how they were. That's how the DA
It
was.
was called Ask My Children.
Yeah, and then there's a certain method that they had. It's a law now that you can't coerce kids a certain way in
Well,
testimonies.
what they did, like Mike has stated in his testimony, because Mike was something else. I ain't gonna get. It's funny what he told Detective Zirko, and he was right. But he was asked why. He was asked by Mr. Morales, why did you speak to the nice officer that way, in that tone, but you didn't speak to your father that way? First of all, we meeting somebody for the first time.
He said the nice officer.
Yeah, and you're coming out of the situation.
Right.
Do you think that he's gonna be nice to you? Do you think any of us gonna be nice to you? Especially if you mean to us. But
Yeah.
Mike said that he knew the whole time, because he said they put him in a room, he told Mr. Morales, and he said in the back he could see a light go off, that it was somebody back there. And he said the detective came in there and told him, would ask him questions, then would leave for 5 minutes and come back and say, oh, Curtis told me this, so you're gonna tell me the truth now? Mike said, how do I know Curtis said that? Can I see him? Oh, well, he's in another room. He said,
yeah, that's a trick technique.
oh, well, he's in another room being questioned by another detective. They got detectives all over here. Oh, come back in the room. The twins, they said this. Mike said, well, how do I know that they said that? Can I see them? No. You want to go home, right? He said, yeah. Well, then tell me the truth.
And see, that implies that if you don't say what you want me to say, then you're not going home. Give me what I.
That's the stunt he pulled on Keisha, me, Sharon, Marlon, and Tiffany. They got all 5 of us in an unmarked vehicle, put us in there, and they took us to a hospital. And what they did, after they did examinations and all that, they put us in a room, and we could see the lights going off and on. And while we were speaking, Keisha said to me, where's Tiffany at? I said, she's down there in the room with Sharon. But they was coming back and forth asking us questions, and we wasn't answering them like they wanted us to. They would tell us, well, Sharon said this happened. Sharon said that happened. This Marlon said this happened, that happened. And what you mentioned, the movie that we saw, Just Ask the Children, in that movie, they can't do it now, but these officers was telling the kids what their parents did. And then they got the kids so scared to the point they gaslit and they was brainwashing them. So the kids was like, well, am I going to see my parents again? And they was like, yeah, but first you tell us the truth. So they would lie to these officers. The parents went to prison for 20-something years. This was in Bakersfield, the same area.
Yeah.
I tell you, Kern County, they got so many cases.
There's something else.
They got a bunch of cases up there where they've done.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But it's funny because from that one case, it also went across. It was a national thing. They said they'd done this all across the country at the time. This is what they were doing and how they were threatening kids. And it's something because you guys' situation is that, they didn't help you guys without any kind of resources. And then they wouldn't, give you all kind of requests for transcripts and different things for a number of years. They
used tactics. See, they knew from Laura writing that letter, they was privy to all of us and how we was treated. So their first thing to do to us was to buy us with food. So they had a whole bunch of donuts laying out on the table, bunch of McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, pizza. And After you guys get washed up, then you can go eat what you want.
Yeah.
Then after they let you look at the food because they torturing you, right? You looking at the food, you're already hungry because you came out of a situation you want to eat. No, come over here first in this room so I can talk to you first. So we go in another room, sit there and talk. And then what do they do when you get in there? They punish you. They interrogate you and punish you like you the predator. That's what they
But it's
do.
funny, it's crazy because they did it during the trial.
No counselors or anything.
No counselors. And the DA asked us. She said, "Wait a minute, Crystal." She said, "They left you guys up at the house." I said, "They left us there with no food, nothing of that." They left
no utilities.
She said, "Was any paramedics?" I said, "Ain't called no paramedics. It was no therapist there." And she said, "I didn't have the case then. I didn't know that." I said, "They didn't do nothing. They left us there."
Yeah, they did. How do I know? I was there.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Rick,
I couldn't believe it.
4,000 feet up in the air in all that snow. Freezing.
But what resonates to me, Crystal, what resonates to me is that what they did before the trial, during the trial, and afterwards, the type of treatment for a number of years of denying you guys your basic rights as victims so you can process your trauma. They're like, we'll just keep sweeping it up under the rug, and it'll be so old, it'll just disappear, as just in the dirt. It'll just
go. What happened to me when we went just this last time after we met with the DA. I'm gonna mention it now. They mentioned it before. I felt bad when I was sitting in there when that office manager was in there, and that's why I asked to speak to somebody higher up, because she made a comment to me, and it kind of like it shook me, and it took me back to the position that they put us in the first time when we would tell that what Laura was doing, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So she would throw it back on me. And how she threw it back on me, I said, how can you say that he raped her? Now, these are just questions that you should be able to answer. How can you say that he raped her? She said, she came up with this analogy. She said, you can go in that bathroom right there with a guy, come out and say they raped you. Now, when I met with the actual DA, she said, that's not how it works. You gotta, she said, you can say it, but it comes with evidence. And there's no evidence that she was raped.
Not during the trial. She didn't testify during the trial. No testimony. No testimony on transcript that she said she was raped.
But the first thing she mentioned is what Rick told me about 2 weeks ago. He said, you got so many hours to go get a rape kit. This is all in our country. She didn't get none of that. If you saw in the testimony how many times this lady went to the doctor and that she has lied, it would blow you away. Away. From having OBGYNs visits to dental visits to eye doctor visits because she suffered from a stigma.
But she stated and she had that never went to the doctor.
And she had that miscarriage.
And had a surgery.
Yeah.
And it was consistently drilled in her by Dad's attorney. So you was afraid? And she went along with it. Yes, I was afraid.
And your dad's gone down to Virginia for how many weeks?
It was almost a month, right?
Almost a month.
And
she told me she was scared of a teenager.
We ain't even got into.
We ain't got into that yet. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Oh yeah.
That one right there. That was a tough one, right? That situation. That was bad because they stayed on that for about 12, 13 pages, verbatim, everything. Verbatim, everything.
And that
something. I'm gonna just tell you guys this. Something suspicious. Even till today, how do we even know her name is Laura Cowing? We don't know who that was. We don't know who she is. Still, none of us don't know who she is. When I saw all those names like that, 12 different names, and you got all those social security numbers, and you got the nerve to want to reach out to somebody's family to try to do some more damage.
The crazy
Sound
thing
like
to
she was.
me is that the crazy thing to me is how she recorded everybody.
That too. And
Hmm.
we read about that. We're
Mm,
gonna get into
that-
detail with that.
I can't wait. That was
Everything we had
crazy.
been saying, it
Yep.
was proved.
Yep.
It was proved. Everything that we had been saying in them court records, it was
Mm-hmm.
proved. When I say this person is a habitual liar, she's a habitual liar. You know what it's like? It's like we sitting up here and I asked Rick, can you throw the ball from this camera to the tub? And you know it's not possible. That's how her testimony sounds. That the
Right.
stuff that she was able to do in the home, your common sense tell you that it's not possible. That's how I was reading verbatim the recordings. How'd you do these recordings?
Yep.
And she followed it up with a lie, and the lie didn't make no damn sense. To know it didn't make sense to us, and the trial's over with. It didn't make no sense how she recorded.
And how many recordings of her abuse did she have?
None.
None.
And that's what he asked. He said, "Where's all the recordings of you and your children?" Oh, I wasn't able to record those.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like we said, that's crazy.
I'm just telling you, it's
Yeah.
messed up. It is messed up, the stuff she did.
Yep.
And then I'm reminded of this too. When we was visiting the DA, do you remember what the DA told me and you about our mother, Hannah?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the DI, and we talked about abuse victims. You know, because some of my training, you know, I never forget my intimate violence IPV course. And so, you know, over at the university, and learned a lot about, you know, people that's been abused, and talked about all the abuse that she went through, your mother went through early, way back. And then we wonder why somebody acts a certain way at this point. And I was talking about, I said, it's kind of similar like when somebody's on addiction, they could have so much trauma and damage done to them, developmental damage as they develop as an adult, to where their brain is not functioning correctly. The right chemicals aren't going through their brain like it should be. Their midbrain is all messed up and stuff like that. So they don't do things correctly. And so that's why, you know, she stated that she felt that that's why she did the things that she did later on. She felt that, you know, it's sad because she said it's kind of hard to assign culpability to her, to your mom. And that right there, I told her, I said, that's subjective. And you, Crystal, what did you see? You know, you didn't agree with her, right?
Yeah, I didn't agree with it. And the reason why I didn't agree with it is because I look back at conversations that I've had with Richard, Keisha, Marcus, and Tiffany. I look back at all of the stuff that they said that happened to mom. Then I go back to relatives that I spoke to that said she had opportunities to leave and that she did leave. And then I look back at all of our interviews that we've done on this podcast: Marcus, Keisha, Sharon, Tiffany, Michael, Marlon, myself, Richard. You know, I look back at all our interviews and how some of them feel that they feel like, hey, she could have got help. Now, while you talk about the mind being tricked because that was all she knew, you know, that she literally was raised with him. As a mother, I disagree with it because there's no way in your natural mind that you're going to allow children to go through the magnitude of stuff that we went through.
Right.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no
You would
way.
think it would be an ounce of something somewhere to tell, you know, that she would say, well, you know, I shouldn't let this happen and I shouldn't go along with this for the period of time that she went on, you know, somewhere along the line.
Right.
And what's that?
I said that's right.
Yeah, and so that's what I think of that too.
But
And it's like I'm really puzzled in a sense to that. Because I'm saying you like
but
all this time, but when you're abused, that you abuse, I get abused, then I turn around and I abuse others. Does
right.
that take it away from me from being an abuser?
No.
You know,
No. But
yeah,
one
and
of the
that's the
things
thing.
one of the things that the district attorney did tell me, before I left, she said if you needed anything else, and they both gave us cards, or we needed questions answered, to contact them, and they would make themselves present. Um, as I was going through the transcripts as well, I noticed our oldest sister, Lakeisha, said that our father made all of our relationships broken because as siblings, he used favoritism on all of us. And I'm just going to say, I personally don't feel like he used favoritism on all of us at all.
Hmm.
I don't believe that at all. I saw one child in the home being
Mm-hmm.
favoritism, and that's the God knows truth. That's what I saw. And when she stated that, when Julie Baldwin asked her, did that put a strand in you guys' relationship? She says yes. And I'm just gonna say, I'm a grown adult and I can speak for myself. Personally, no, that is not the reason why I took myself away from our family.
Hmm.
I love all of my siblings, and it had nothing to do with none of my siblings at all. It had something to do with the fact that our mother was getting back in a relationship with a person that was the carbon copy of our father. That's what
Right.
the problem was. That
Hmm.
was the only problem while I took myself out of it, because I didn't want to be controlled. I didn't want somebody arguing at me all the time. I didn't want somebody using God to tell me
You know
that, oh,
something?
you're going to be
Speaking to
punished
that
by,
point, when
huh?
that happened, when you found out that she was going into another relationship, you know,
It was
it was
hidden. It
yeah,
was
it was
hidden.
hidden. Yeah,
It was hidden, and it was hidden
yeah, it
specific.
was.
It was hidden specifically from me, and I was told. Sharon didn't even know, but it was
Yeah.
hidden, and it was specifically hidden from me for a reason,
Hmm.
because I had already went and left, because it was a relative in our family, and a male relative, that spoke to me and all our sisters and told us, because he had two children, female daughters himself, and he told us, don't get yourself twisted up in that
Did
situation.
you feel that you was betrayed by her when you found out what she was doing with homeboy from outer space?
Oh yeah, you know that 100%. I did. You know why? Because during the time when we both was helping her, and not just me, but some of our other siblings was helping her, she was tricking us.
Hmm.
She was tricking me and
Yep.
you, and she was
Yeah,
tricking
me.
all of our siblings. And she did not go get our other 6 siblings like she was supposed to. It was a plan made.
Everything was set up.
Yeah,
All the resources was set up.
yeah, it was a
Everything that
plan.
she
Mm-hmm.
and that was a time where I felt that things could have been started healing properly if she took that step, and she took a step of going to another man, another similar type of carbon copy abuser. This guy, because he has a track record of doing stuff for a number of years, and that was just like, I know at that time, it blew my mind. I was like, wow. I was like, what a betrayal, because we put in a lot of work getting all these resources available for her, going down there, getting her out, sitting down, us having counseling sessions where we're breaking down, we have to take breaks because the information was so rough that we were having, at that time.
Yeah, but
And it,
but but it was a betrayal on our mother's part, because our mother was behind our back, tricking all of us, and we was making a way to get into a home for all of us to get jobs and to get all the kids, the minor kids, back, so that way things they can see some normalcy. All of us see some normalcy. And the thing is that I don't think she wanted that. I think she wanted to go back to that.
Yeah.
That's what I think, because you know, she gravitated towards him. She had bad influences around her too.
Yeah.
She had
And that
some
was
bad,
another that was, you know, that in and of itself
she
was
has look,
abusive.
she had
That
some
was abusive.
bad, yeah, she had some bad influences around her. And I wanted to say I never blame, and nor do I blame any of my siblings till today. I blame all 4 adults in that home, as I testified in those court records, and I stand by that till today. I don't care if those other 2 wasn't convicted. I still blame them. Our mother, father too. And what I was told coming out of that district attorney's office, she said your mother needs to go get counseling. If she hasn't sought any counseling, she needs to go get some counseling.
Yeah, because you know, if somebody's abused so bad to the point where they have to go and abuse other people, they need to be put away somewhere where they can't abuse other people. That's what happened.
Look, nobody saw me. I didn't call. Our mother had disowned us and disowned me, and every last one of them know that, because she's done a lot of things to them, and they've been vocal with their brother Richard. They've been vocal with me. Every last one of them have. She's done a lot of stuff that she's allowed. You know, her abuse emotionally, when it comes to all of us, it hasn't gone away.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't gone away, and I hear it in her voice when she was speaking online, and all Richard and all 7 of us, they know who they was, whoever's watching. But Nikosi was one of them that was sitting up here online when Mom stated that her so-called husband respects all of us and that he's never done to us. I was like, how could you sit up there and lie, you know, like that? Verbatim. When I have, and I'm a good filer, and you know that I document everything down to a T. I have so many reports on that guy from things that he's done to our mother and all of our siblings till today.
Yeah.
So I took the advice of the district attorney myself. You know, I moved all the past out of the equation. I don't hold on to it, you know, and all of that. But I took all of the past, you know, out of the equation. And what I did, because I talked to Richard before I did it, because I spoke to my counselor, and the district attorney gave me this advice. She said, talk to your mother, write your mother a letter. Okay? I wrote our mother a letter. Ain't that correct, Rick?
Yeah. Sure did. He showed me, yeah.
Yep. And I sent Rick a copy of it, kept a copy. Because I was given the advice by the district attorney and my therapist that our mother needs to get her some independent counseling if she is not getting any. And like I said, and I've always said, my prayer to our mother is that she takes that letter and she views it as a positive and a concern that all of us, every last one of her children, have for her. And I hope she reads my words and she don't take those words and the terminology. First of all, I hope she gets the letter. That's what I hope. And I hope that she don't take the terminology of my letter and gaslight it. That's what I hope.
If she does what is best. If she does what is best for her at this point, this is another chance, you know, for her to do what's best. And it's bad because this is at a long phase of a way down the line of a tertiary phase where it's possible she has the possibility, but the probability doesn't look good.
It's not a chance for her to be in my life. That door is closed.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about her changing stuff for her own. It's for herself, for her own life, and finally do the right thing for her own life. Because I'm saying it's funny because there's so many different 12-step programs from AA to NA to even people that have been through abuse, and you know, and one of the things that you do is you know going through when you're changing your process, You have to go and acknowledge if you can, if the person even want to hear from you, because some people don't even want to hear. Just like, hope you change. I don't want to hear nothing from you. I've seen enough of the shit show. You know, they don't want no more. They don't want another one of those. So that's that's her situation there. But like I said, we'll see the aftermath coming up soon, because I'm sure we'll be hearing something. It'll be some chatter popping off soon.
Bottom line is that this is not an attempt for her to be in my life at all. This is some advice that I was given by the district attorney and that I was given by my personal therapist, is that reach out to your mother. I've asked some of our siblings, one of them not going to do it. We spoke to her on the phone because they don't believe that she going to do it. And yeah, it might be a belief that you don't believe that she don't do it, but at least you tried. But I'm just saying that was my last attempt from giving that advice.
And I was surprised that you even agreed to give her the advice, because I know it was something you were saying, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Then I'm not going to. And I don't know. There was a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
With that process. So all I can say is somebody needs to thank their lucky stars somewhere along the line. And do something right for once.
But I'm just saying,
I said for one time, do something right.
Right.
For one time, try it. You might like it. Even if it seems wrong to do right, try it. And then try it another time. And if you don't believe it in doing right, well, hey, fake it so much till you make it, until you start to believe it.
Yeah, but I'm saying in closing, this is what I want to say, is that in the months to come and years, that this podcast, the conversation is going to get hotter. It's going to get deeper. People might have their feelings hurt, but, it's about really stop being in denial, and telling the truth. That's what it's about. And, as for Lord Cowing, Adrian Easter, and Musa, and, those transcripts is going to be heavily discussed. All three of them. They're going to be heavily discussed. Now, the Sean Dower, one of the producers of The Girl in the Garage, his statement he made about Laura, that, there was no abuse never mentioned in this case. If you stick around long enough, and keep on watching, they'll be revealed. And that lie you told is going to be covered up with the truth.
Mm-hmm. For Sean Dower, I feel like it's one of the Tupac songs. When he talks about an individual,
the way he spoke, it was just, I was like, wow, how foul of you to say something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The way he spoke, I'm just like, how foul of you to say that somebody wasn't involved in something and to pick and choose. It was all four adults. They're all at fault. They was there. They were supposed to be responsible. They were supposed to be protectors. They're supposed to be taking care of children. These two individuals was told about this stuff by both sides of their families. They're the blame. They're the blame. Like I said last week, they're the blame. Don't you go blaming, mom's side of the family, dad's side of the family. I'm done. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. No, and I'm not living, in the past. I don't hold on to grudges no more, because I got through a lot of that stuff, going through therapy. But, what I'm saying is that at this point in our mother's life, she needs to go get some counseling and independent.
She really does
counseling on their own.
And it's funny, because usually when people are at that level for that duration, you could tell them what they usually don't. And I know if she's somewhere listening and somebody want to tell her that she needs to go get help. That's what you tell
pretty
her.
sure the thing is, Hannah,
She
I'm
really
pretty,
needs to.
I'm pretty sure every last one of them have told her that she needs. I
Mhm.
know they have. They
Keep
haven't you
telling
told
her.
her, Rick?
Keep telling
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that all of our siblings have told her she needs to go get some counseling. But the thing is, I'm not going to live my life telling her that. This was
Oh
just
no.
a one-time thing because I
Right.
was given the advice by the DA to tell your mother that she needs to get some serious counseling. She said the
Mm-hmm.
stuff I rolled through in that box. She said there's no way. She said the pictures that I saw, there's no way. And when I told her, I said our father is still in denial, going to a hearing last. She said you went to the hearing. I said I was there. Typed the 8-page letter and went there and was at the hearing, and it's just the same
Have you
thing.
read the? Have you did the letter on the show yet?
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
Oh
We
yeah, I
did
remember. Yeah,
that.
okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I might have to revisit that one there because that
yeah.
one
And
is so
it,
a
it, it
victim impact statements. A victim impact statements.
yeah.
That right there is. Whew.
It's just unbelievable, you know, when the time comes at how much stuff me and Richard have worked on. And it's been serious. Like I said, it's like going to school, being in college, you know. And I'm like, this is some heavy stuff. And it's a lot of groundwork, you know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff I discovered that I didn't know about our parents. It's just
It
shocking.
has. I see. It has its rewards for you guys because I've been there with the ups and the downs. When the rewards get there, and that's the relief. And
That's
for
how I
me,
was in the office.
from
Yeah.
watching you two move forward, you see, I could see the difference from now to from last time. That last year at this time, there's been a lot of growth, a lot of processing trauma and healing for you guys within yourselves.
And don't be afraid. That's the thing. I
That's
had
the
to get
main
over
thing.
that. Being
Yeah.
afraid. Because when you're afraid to speak, I mean, of course, speaking comes with respect. But I'm saying when somebody have did you so wrong, yeah, you're gonna have some rage and you're gonna be upset. But she told me too, this DA, she said, don't be afraid. She said, tell all of your sister and brothers, I said, don't be afraid. You don't have to be afraid no more. And you don't.
But check it out. Isn't that what I've been saying to y'all? I've been, man, you've
But
been talking about it for like
yeah,
the whole time.
yeah.
Yep.
Don't be
Yeah.
afraid, you know?
Don't be a coward. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Face that monster. And you'll be surprised at the monster, the curtain to be pulled back like the Wizard of Oz. Is that all it is? This little bitty man? That's all
Also,
it is?
if y'all go through the videos, the first with just a section with the videos, Moose's parole hearing, that's up there. Also, you go over to the live videos and scroll down. Part 2 is on that side. So that's what we did. The your letter when you went to see at the parole board and all that stuff. That's
Yeah.
all in there. We did 2 videos. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So that's in the archives. All they got to do is go to the channel.
Yeah.
And then,
Yep.
open up the channel and go there. Subscribe, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Support because
I just feel like that we've been through the hard stuff already.
Yeah.
And that now laying the foundation, things you can see it getting better. Things really getting better. And you seeing doors open and all of that.
Yeah.
Because it took us some time. I'm not gonna lie.
A lot of
it was
time.
frustrating too. And because you would call me and text Rick, no, don't worry, Rick, we're gonna get this in because trying to find the information, then do this, then with our siblings, I'm just saying not being as supportive as they should. It was getting kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to expose her. I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah, because you are a brother. And I'm saying that's your right. It started with you because it states in the transcripts that it started with you, and he tried to hide it, and they did an investigation, and they found out that while he was saying all of us was liars, he didn't do none of that stuff. They got pictures, evidence, all types of stuff. They're like, well, Your Honor, he has another child that he did this to. So this wasn't nothing new, you know? It wasn't nothing new at all.
Yeah. And then, ostracized, excommunicated away from your brothers and sisters and them from you.
Yeah.
That abuse that's some more. Just constant. It's been going on.
And plus, like we spoke about, and you know that too, Hannah, it hasn't been that one time that we both have been working together in anything that we do. Your family helping out and working, me and Rick working together. It hasn't been like one time where we have not thought about our siblings at all.
The whole time.
At all.
Nope.
Not one time.
Not one.
Not one.
Yeah. So you guys are the catalyst for this, it's and our people process trauma different, and but they really need to apply themselves to this. And I hope they come to that point of applying for themselves and just looking into it like, hey, I can do something for myself. Do something for yourself. Do some self-care, because that's the only way you're gonna get better. And things are going to even change for you. And get away from that. Hey, we taught them to put one on one side, another on the other side, for them to clash of the Titans to go at it with each other. Don't do that. Don't do what they wanted you to do, to fight each other. Be there.
The devil gonna win every time.
Hey, I'm like, you have to be there and say, you know something? I'm going to love you no matter how much you don't even understand how much I love you. Through all your pain, I'm gonna love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So let the healing begin. I don't know where we're at in here, but I do want to restate the number for National Domestic Violence Hotline. And the number is that you can call is 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7273 or 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE or text START to 88788. That's START to 88788. Somebody out there, just make one step. If one person, just one, that sees this podcast and they reach out, that's one. They'll be successful just by one person changing. And I'm sure it's many more people that can make that step. It might be hard, but after you get the help, you'll see that it was the easiest and the best thing that you've ever done.
Like I said, this is an ongoing thing for us.
Yeah.
And
there's always something new every week.
Yep. And until we get to where we be at, this is just something you're gonna see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we came a long way, like Hannah said.
Yep.
Woo! This journey, I'm like, I can go to the top of a mountain and scream and yell because it's really been something.
Well, what was the saying when you said fat meat greasy? Because he said father meat greasy.
Martin and I was like, yo, whoa.
You said,
like, oh, that's a little too freaky for me.
Y'all like, no.
I was in the car dying laughing.
That's old school.
That's gross. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's grossed out. That's grossed out. That's a gross out moment.
Yeah, I said I know why, but I figured it out when you told me what the saying was. It was what?
Fat meat. You don't believe fat meat's greasy.
Yeah,
That's the thing that
yeah.
Okay.
parents say. You keep on messing around, you know you're gonna get in trouble. Keep on
Uh-huh.
doing it, and you go, and you're gonna get consequences.
Uh-huh.
And so, like I know when my mother said, fat, you don't believe fat meat's greasy. My eyes got big as silver dollars, like because you know what's coming next. Them switches gonna pop up in the picture somewhere along the line, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay, so you better stop. So, we all get warnings, and I'm just saying, because people are thinking nowadays, hey, don't whip your kids, don't, they're whipping. That's the thing from slavery. But I'm saying, I think if you direct them correctly when they're young and tell them, don't do this, don't do that, you tap that finger, little kid. I know my daughter, you just tap her finger, just touch it. She's like, ah. I'm like,
No, she said that ain't hurt.
oh, then there go that part.
She
Yeah,
said that ain't hurt.
she was a tough one.
Yeah.
Get her something, she tells something, I pop her hand like this. That didn't hurt. I go harder. That didn't hurt. Then I was like, okay, pow. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, hard as I could go for where she's at. And then she's like, that didn't hurt. But she told me years later. She said, Daddy. She said, yeah. She said, when you pop my hand, it hurt every time. Like, you a tough one. I'm like, I don't know. You just, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Fat meat, if you don't think fat meat's greasy, and this goes out to people that's been perpetrating the fraud this whole time. You must not think fat meat is greasy.
So there you
But you're
go,
about to
Marlon.
find out.
So there
It's
you go,
fat meat
Marlon.
greasy, Marlon.
Yeah, that's the correct way, not the other way.
Yeah.
Right. He probably still sitting there talking
Dedicated to
about,
Marlon.
nah, it's that. I'm telling you, it's that way. He's probably turning the professor on us on that one.
AKA Tango and Cash.
Yeah, Tango and Cash. Who is
That was
Tango and
like,
Cash?
wow, that's a deep one right there. Tang. When I saw that, I was like, what?
You gotta be.
He said Tango and Cash.
Yeah. And it's
And
funny because I
Billy
remember
Bowman
it.
was
I
like,
remember
who
it
is
now
Tango
vaguely because
and Cash?
it's so many elements of this stuff that we forgot about.
Yeah.
And then when we're reminded of it, it's like, oh yeah, he did trip out. Like, what are you talking about? Tango and Cash. Because I'm like, you said that at the trial, but I don't ever remember that before the trial. Him even saying that the Tango and Cash stuff. You remember that? You remember him saying Tango and Cash before the trial, Melina? Me.
I know he liked the movie, and I know we've seen it many of times. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it in some years. Well,
Yeah.
since I've been an adult, I haven't seen it. But
You-
I know
yeah.
I know it was I know it was a lot of our brothers, one of their
Yeah.
favorite action movies.
Yeah, I think Marley might have been doing a little embellishment because he'll embellish every now and then and tell you a trumped up story, with all kind of stuff in it. Trump, oh yeah, a whole lot of pun intended. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We've been up here for about 2 hours, just about.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
We've been rolling. But we're gonna get to
Whoa.
the actual, transcripts. Who's first up is gonna be Laura, Musa, or I did always I want that letter. But anyway, we'll think about how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that should be first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should present that first.
Yeah. That's gonna be yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, because some people, on TV, they'll show you the lowest thing first to keep you to hold you. We want to hold you. We want to hold you. We want to hold you here.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give them the main drop right off the top, that's going to hold them. They're going to see that like, wow, because everything is going to correlate from them to everything else that has been said. They're going to put it all together because, no matter what order, the chronology of the event, like I said with them, but everything will be, it'll all be relevant. Once after everybody sit down and they analyze it, everything that's going on this channel. So no matter where you look at something in this channel, you have other places to go back and say, oh, that correlates to that. It all correlates. It's all interconnectedness here.
Yeah, everything's connected. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching us. Support us by hitting the like button. Uh, subscribe, everything. Watch the videos. The ticker at the bottom if you want to cash at me. It's at the bottom to support the channel and other things that we're doing. And we out. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll be back next Friday.
A-Hob to the tribe.
Good night.
Peace.